Just a quick video, guys. I updated the PDF for the Mystery of the Cross. I put verse numbers in there, and I made the words of Christ in red. So, yeah, just to let you guys know, we should be doing a video and a study on this PDF, but I actually want to read the contents from the Apocryphal Acts of John first, and I actually found another, um, at least one other text in the library that likely cross references these kind of teachings. So, um, I don't know. We'll see what happens. The revelations flood so heavily, it's hard to stay on one topic for very long. But you know what? I just want to point something out while I'm here because just in case, here we go. Give me one moment, please. Okay. This is how one of the things that led me to discern that this text was indeed the real teachings of Yeshua. We could tell these things when we understand prophetic truth, okay? So, these are the words of Jesus. And he said to John, Peter will lead. He's speaking of I intend to make of you a foundation on which others can build an edifice of holiness. Peter will lead them to James, and James will lead them to you and Mary. Now, it's this verse. After I read this, I'm like, okay, this is not somebody basing a text off something else that was written. This is not just some shallow text that was based off the Apocryphal Acts of John. This is likely the real prophetic teachings of Yeshua. And this is not the only verse that unveils this. But I just want to point this out. Peter will lead them to James. Now, who is Peter? Peter is the church. Will lead them to James. Who is James? James is the head of the church. Okay, we can learn about this in the Gospel of Thomas. James was the head of the church after Christ was crucified. And the Gospel of Thomas, there's a saying of Jesus, the apostles asked him, where shall we go after you're gone? And he says, go to James the just. Go to James the just. For his sake, heaven and earth were created. It's for the church's sake. The reason why heaven and earth were created in this paradigm, because heaven and earth will eventually pass away, is because of the church. The church is the whole point of life. So Peter will lead the elect to James, so the church will lead the elect to the head of the church, and the head of the church will lead them to John and Mary. Okay, now interesting how he says John and Mary. See, John is the apostle, the heart of God, who is the heart of God. And it's interesting, I think this pertains as a shadow of Christ because we understand the revelation of Mary Magdalene. She serves as a type and shadow to be Christ's husband. Though she never married Christ 2,000 years ago, but she served as a type and shadow of that marriage of Christ, the fulfillment of the book of Hosea. So when we take this verse into context, think about this stuff. This is real prophetic revelation, divinely inspired, if we can conceive of it. So I just wanted to point these kind of little things out. This really does give us, this text should be studied, amazing revelation. So I pray I have time to make the audio book, but these audio books take so much effort. I don't have the ability to simply read them. There's a lot of spiritual attack making these audio books. This would literally take tireless hours and hours just to do this audiobook. It gets painstaking, unfortunately. It becomes like almost not worth it, though I live on these audiobooks. So, I don't know. And I think the audiobooks are so important because it helps us. I live off the audiobooks because it really does help absorb these texts more and get to know them better. So, alright, I just wanted to share that, guys. Enjoy the PDF. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see where our studies take us. Okay, thanks.